The region known today as Bangladesh carries a history filled with brilliance, prosperity, suffering, and renewal. For centuries, Bengal was among the richest lands in the world, admired for its fertile soil, artistic excellence, and flourishing trade. Travelers from the Muslim world and Europe praised its abundance and refined culture. Yet this very land later suffered exploitation, famine, and political fragmentation under colonial rule. From an Islamic perspective, Bengal's journey from wealth to poverty and toward modern revival reflects deep lessons about gratitude, justice, moral responsibility, and the consequences a society faces when its values are disrupted by oppression and injustice. Before colonial powers entered the region, Bengal thrived under centuries of Muslim rule. From the 13th to the 18th century, Islamic governance strengthened the region's economy, encouraged urbanization, and supported cultural prosperity. Under the Mughal Empire, rulers like Akbar and Aurangzeb considered Bengal one of their wealthiest provinces. Dhaka, then known as Jahangir became globally famous for its muslin, a fabric so delicate it was described as woven air. This prosperity reflected the Quranic principle that when people uphold faith and righteousness, Allah opens the gates of blessings from the heavens and the earth. Muslim rule in Bengal was not only a political era, but a spiritual and moral awakening for the region. Islamic governance encouraged justice, fair trade, and community welfare. Charitable endowments funded mosques, schools, and public services. Zakat and Sadaqah created balance, preventing extreme poverty and encouraging compassion. Sufi saints like Shah Jalal of Sylhet and Khan Jahan Ali of Khulna played a central role in spreading Islam through kindness, wisdom, and service. Their teachings emphasized humility, justice, and devotion to Allah. These values shaped the social character that helped Bengal flourish during its golden age. By the 17th century, Bengal had emerged as one of the world's most economically productive regions. Its artisans produced fine textiles, silk, and especially muslin, which became sought after in Ottoman, Arab, and European markets. Economic historian Angus Maddison estimated that Bengal alone contributed nearly 12% of the world's GDP in the early 18th century, an astonishing figure even today. The fertile plains of the Ganges and Brahmaputra produced rice, sugar, jute, and spices in abundance. Bengal's ports were central to the Indian Ocean trade, linking the region to Arabia, East Africa, and Southeast Asia through fair and ethical commerce. Bengal's reputation for honesty in trade and its adherence to Islamic business ethics earned it global respect. Merchants conducted business with integrity, ensuring fair prices and trustworthy dealings. Many Muslim traders viewed commerce as a form of worship when done according to Sharia principles. Even the Ottoman Empire imported Bengal's textiles for royal garments. Arab merchants carried Bengal's fine goods across the Red Sea and beyond. This interconnected economy, supported by spiritual values, created a unique balance between material success and moral responsibility. It was this harmony that made Bengal a shining example of prosperity in the Islamic world. However, Bengal's golden age took a devastating turn in 1757 with the Battle of Plassey. The British East India Company defeated Nawab Siraj-ud-Dawla, marking not only a shift in political power, but the beginning of systematic economic extraction. Colonial forces dismantled Bengal's industries, imposed heavy taxes, and redirected wealth to Britain. The muslin industry was intentionally destroyed through oppressive policies. British factories flooded Bengal with cheap machine-made cloth, destroying centuries of craftsmanship. The once wealthy province became a source of raw materials instead of a producer of finished goods, crippling its economic independence. British colonialism not only drained Bengal's material wealth, but also disrupted its spiritual and social structures. The Waqf system, an essential institution for community welfare, was weakened. Islamic schools lost patronage, and religious leadership lost the financial stability necessary to sustain social services. Replacing Islamic governance with a secular colonial bureaucracy broke the moral foundation that had long guided Bengal society. This collapse of values and economy set the stage for widespread poverty. In 1770, the Bengal famine killed nearly 10 million people, one of the worst human catastrophes in history. worsened by colonial greed and neglect. Oi. The rise, fall, and revival of Bengal offer profound lessons to the world. Islam teaches that wealth is a blessing, but also a test. When societies uphold justice, gratitude, and compassion, Allah increases their blessings. But when they become arrogant or unjust, those blessings can be removed. Bengal's golden age shined because of its balance between spirituality and worldly success. Its decline came when foreign greed and internal divisions broke that balance. Its modern recovery shows that nations can rise again when they return to principles of fairness, unity, and sincere devotion to Allah. The Quran reminds believers that gratitude brings increase. Allah says in Surah Ibrahim 14:7, "If you are grateful, I will surely increase you in favor. But if you deny, my punishment is severe." Bengal's history reflects this truth. Its past prosperity was rooted in justice and gratitude. Its suffering came through oppression and corruption. Its revival grew from patience, perseverance, and community strength. These patterns show how spiritual values shape the destiny of nations. Bangladesh's journey is not merely political or economic. It is a reflection of the moral choices made across generations. Today, Bangladesh stands at a crossroads. It is rising economically but challenged morally and socially. It carries the hope of becoming a model Muslim nation while facing the dangers of inequality, corruption, and environmental decline. The story of Bengal teaches that true prosperity requires more than wealth. It demands justice, honesty, compassion, and gratitude to Allah. Bangladesh has the potential to rebuild the harmony once seen in its golden age, where spiritual values guided economic success. Its choices today will shape whether it becomes a beacon of integrity or repeats the mistakes of history. Bangladesh's journey, from one of the world's richest regions to one of its poorest, and now to a nation of resilience and potential, carries a powerful Islamic message. A society's strength lies not only in its economy, but in its faith, values, and treatment of its people. If Bangladesh continues to embrace Islamic principles such as ethical commerce, care for the poor, environmental responsibility, and honesty in leadership, it can inspire the world once again. Its story is a reminder that with faith, gratitude, and justice, even a nation scarred by colonialism and war can rise to greatness once more. Historians like William Dalrymple and economist Amartya Sen have explained how British policies directly contributed to Bengal's suffering. Forced revenue collection, export-oriented farming, and neglect of local needs created a cycle of famine. Instead of providing relief, the British continued exporting grain. Villages collapsed, families vanished, and culture suffered irreparable harm. Bengal, once a symbol of abundance, was reduced to hunger and helplessness. This tragic reversal illustrated the Quranic warning that injustice brings destruction to societies. The moral decline of colonial powers became a stark contrast to the earlier era when Islamic ethics had protected Bengal's people. Even after British rule ended in 1947, Bengal's hardships did not disappear. The subcontinent's partition divided Bengal into two: West Bengal under India and East Bengal under Pakistan. East Bengal, later known as East Pakistan, was richer in population and resources, but faced neglect from West Pakistan, which dominated political power. Economic inequality widened, cultural identity was suppressed, and the region felt marginalized. This inequality deepened over time, creating frustration and unrest among the people. The dream of freedom from colonialism remained unfulfilled, as East Bengal struggled to achieve dignity and equal rights in the new political order. The tensions between East and West Pakistan eventually erupted into conflict. After years of political oppression, language discrimination, and economic exploitation, East Pakistan declared independence in 1971. The Bangladesh Liberation War was brutal and tragic. Millions were displaced, cities were destroyed, and countless lives were lost. Yet despite the suffering, the people remained determined to secure freedom. From an Islamic perspective, Bangladesh's struggle for independence symbolizes the Quranic truth that hardship is followed by ease. The birth of Bangladesh in 1971 became a story of resilience, sacrifice, and hope rising from oppression. When Bangladesh emerged as an independent nation, it faced enormous challenges. The country was devastated by war, its infrastructure destroyed, and its economy shattered. The famine of 1974 added further suffering to a population already weakened by conflict. International support was limited, and internal instability made rebuilding difficult. Once known as the breadbasket of the East, Bangladesh had become one of the poorest and most fragile nations in the world. Corruption, mismanagement, and the lingering effects of colonial extraction created obstacles at every step. Yet within these struggles lay the seeds of future renewal. Islamic values played an important role in Bangladesh's recovery, even though early government policies were largely secular. Community support, charity, and resilience guided the people through difficult times. Zakat and Sadaqah helped families survive, and Islamic organizations later contributed to humanitarian work. The spirit of collective responsibility, deeply rooted in the culture, allowed Bangladesh to slowly rebuild itself. Islamic teachings remind believers that Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. This belief strengthened communities facing poverty, natural disasters, and political challenges, encouraging patience and unity during the nation's early years. Over the last few decades, Bangladesh has transformed in ways that surprise the world. From a nation once associated with poverty and crisis, it has risen to become one of South Asia's fastest-growing economies. Its ready-made garment industry now employs millions, especially women, and contributes significantly to national income. Overseas workers send remittances that support families and strengthen the economy. With improvements in education, healthcare, and infrastructure, poverty rates have dropped dramatically, from more than 80% in the 1970s to around 18% today. Bangladesh's progress became an example of how resilience and hard work can reshape a nation. Despite its economic rise, modern Bangladesh faces new challenges. Rapid urbanization has led to overcrowding, pollution, and environmental decline. Dhaka, once known for its gardens and rivers, now struggles with traffic, waste, and air pollution. Corruption and inequality continue to affect governance and public services. Industrial growth has brought prosperity but also increased pressure on natural resources. These challenges remind Bangladesh that material success alone is not enough. From an Islamic viewpoint, true development requires justice, ethical leadership, and protection of the environment, principles emphasized repeatedly in the Quran and Sunnah.